Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about Module 4. First, institutional based correction. What is institutional based correction? The difference is community based correction, or you're either placed on parole or given probation. An institutional based correction means that the individual is placed in a prison or jail, which means they are housed at a secure correctional facility. What are the institutional corrections in the Philippines? Correctional Institution for Women or CIW in Mandaluyong and the CIW Mindanao, Santo Tomas, Davao del Norte. Second, New Bilibid Prison in Muntinlupa, Sablayan Prison and Penal Farm in Occidental Mindoro, Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm in Princesa City, Palawan, Leyte Regional Prison in Abuyog, Leyte. So, what are the five major goals of institutional correction? So usually there are five major goals of correction system distinguish: the retribution, incapacitation, rehabilitation, deterrence, and restoration. And what are the function of institutional corrections? So the function of corrections are to provide control, custody, and care to any person convicted to a criminal offense. Providing control for correctional clients is twofold. The first thing that needs to be addressed is the correctional employee. These employees work in any governmental jurisdiction in any country. The correction explosion while serious crime in the United States consistently declined throughout much of the 1990s, and while such declines continued into the early years of the 21st century, the number of people under correctional supervision in this country, not just the number of convicted offenders sent to prison, has to continue to climb. The correction explosion causative factors: get tough on crime laws, three strikes, two strikes, zero tolerance, the war on drugs, parole authorities' fear of civil liability, and public outcry. The growth dynamic of the corrections boom. 4. Current trends of the current rate of imprisonment is over 500 per 100,000 persons with no sign of declining. 5. Correctional clients, prisons, inmates, probationer parolees, offenders assigned to alternative sentencing programs, offenders held in jails. Careers in corrections growing correctional populations have held an expanding workforce. Uniformed officers in prison alone estimated at more than 215,000, including juvenile detention, probation, parole administrators, jail personnel, and other boosts that number to nearly 750,000 nationwide. Types of crime. These are the example of types of crime. First, felony. A serious criminal offense, specifically one punishable by death or by incarceration in a prison facility for more than a year. So example ni kaya murder or torture or any harsh crime. Second, misdemeanor, a relative minor violation of the criminal law, such as petty theft or simple assault, punishable by confinement for 1 year or less. Next, infraction, a minor violation of a state statute or local ordinance punishable by a fine or other penalty other than incarceration, or by a specified, usually very short term of incarceration. These are other types of crime. Violent crime. Interpersonal crime that involves the use of force by offenders or result in injury or death to victims. Murder, rape, or robbery. Next is property crime. Burglary, larceny, automobile theft, and arson, as reported by the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Uniform Crime Reporting Program. Ninth, measuring and reporting crime FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting or UCR program. Bureau of Justice Statistics National Crime Victimization Survey or NCVS. This can aid in projecting the need of detention and rehabilitation services and facilities. Criminal justice. Criminal justice is process. The process of achieving justice through the application of criminal law and through the workings of the criminal justice system. Also, the study of the field of criminal justice. As system. Criminal justice as system, the collective agency that perform criminal justice operations, administration, and technical support functions. The basic divisions include police, courts, and corrections. Entering the system. Arraignment. Arraignment and appearance in court prior to trial in a criminal proceeding. Next is preliminary hearing, a pre-trial hearing that may follow arraignment to determine whether there is a probable cause to believe that the accused committed a crime within a jurisdiction of the court. Next is 12. Judicial procedures null prosequi. A prosecutor's action to drop criminal charges after the charges have been filed. When the action is taken, a case is said to be null or nullo contendere. To accept a penalty without admitting guilt, the judge may accept or reject the plea. Adjudication, the process by which a court arrives at a final decision in case. Sentencing options may include death, incarceration, probation, fines, restitution, community service. The Correctional Subsystem Institutional Correction. A report by the Bureau of Justice Statistics or VJS says it is that aspect of the correctional enterprise that involves the confinement and rehabilitation of adults and juveniles convicted of offenses against the law, and the confinement of persons suspected of a crime awaiting trial and adjudication. The Correctional Subsystem Institutional Corrections. A report by the Bureau of Justice Statistics or BJS says it is that the aspect of the correctional enterprise that involves the confinement and rehabilitation of adults and juveniles convicted of offenses against the law, and the confinement of persons suspected of a crime awaiting trial and adjudication. The Correctional Subsystem. Continued non-institutional correction, also called community corrections. BJS calls this that aspect of the correctional enterprise that includes pardon, probation, and parole activities, correctional administration not directly connectable to institution, and miscellaneous not directly to institutional care. Corrections. Corrections are all the various aspects of the pre-trial and post-conviction management of individuals accused or convicted of crimes. This definition is convenient for discussion purposes, but also encompasses the 14 elements listed in the text. 17. Corrections define mores. Cultural restriction and behavior that forbid serious violations of a group values. Folkways, time-honored ways of doing things. Although they carry the force of tradition, their violation is unlikely to threaten the social group survival. Criminal law, body of rules that define public offenses. Professionalism, an occupation granted high social status by virtue of criminal integrity of its members. Corrections professional, a dedicated person of high moral character and personal integrity who is employed in the field of corrections and takes professionalism to heart. Certification, a credentialing process usually involving testing and career development assessment, through which skills, knowledge, and abilities of correctional personnel can be formally recognized. Core traits, expanded on the text. These 4 traits have been identified as essential to effective work in corrections. First, accountability, strong writing skills, effective presentational skills, a logical mind, and ability to solve problems. Training virtually every state now requires at least 120 hours of pre-service training for correctional officers and 40 hours on in-service training. The specified basic administrative policy support requirements for training programs. 21. Standard Setting Organization. American Correctional Association or ACA, American Probation and Parole Association or APA, American Jail Association or AGA. Credentialing. The ACA's program for certifying officers is part of a process called credentialing, discussed in detail in Chapter 13. ACA's accreditation program certifies a facilities or programs quality through meeting industry set standards. Evidence-based correction. Application of social scientific techniques to correction focuses on what works The evidence is evidence of a program working, not criminal evidence as constructed with opinion-based policy. Social diversity in corrections. Race, racism, ethnicity, gender. Structure. A structure is an arrangement and organization of interrelated elements in a material object or system, or the object or system so organized. Material structures include man-made objects such as buildings and machines, and natural objects such as biological organisms, materials, and chemicals. Management. Management is the coordination and administration of tasks to achieve a goal. Such administration activities include setting the organization's strategy and coordinating the efforts of staff to accomplish these objectives through the application of available resources. Two system-based approaches to corrections. The Philippine prison system adopted two approaches for treatment of offenders. These are the institutional-based treatment program and the community-based treatment programs. These programs aim towards improvement of offenders' attitude and philosophy of life. So what is institutional-based treatment program? Institutional-based treatment program is the process of result of formal training in school or classrooms intended to shape the mind and attitude of prisoners toward good living upon their release, a general and academic education, the objective of which is to eradicate illiteracy among prisoners. Community-based treatment programs. This refers to a specific integrated model of treatment for people affected with drug use and dependence in the community, which provides a continuum of care from outreach and low-threshold services through detoxification and stabilization of aftercare and integration, including maintenance. Next is custody. Custody is the state of physically holding or controlling a person or piece of property or of having the right to do so. A person who has custody over property or another person often has affirmative duties to protect and care for those in their charge. In the law, custody is used in criminal and family law. Next, security and control of prisoners. Prison security is crucial to maintaining staff and inmate safety in a correctional setting. Security in prisons includes, but is not limited to, managing restrictive housing populations, classification and assessment, managing special populations, and security audits. What is inmates custody security and control program? BGMP is mandated to direct, supervise, and control and the administration and operation of all district, city, and municipal jails nationwide, with strong tasks of safekeeping and development in inmates. Care treatment of prisoners. Care treatment of prisoners is all about all prisoners shall be treated with respect due to their inherent dignity and value as a human beings. There shall be no discrimination on the grounds of race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. The basic idea of treatment is to help the criminals enhance their ability to help themselves. They focus on specific types of offenders, such as sex offenders, violent offenders, and drug addicts. Now, most people believe some treatment programs will help some offenders to prevent recidivism to some extent. Release of prisoners. Remission is the complete ending of sentence at a reduced point. If you are in prison and part of your sentence is remitted, you are prior to completion of full term of your sentence, released into the community without any further supervision or restriction. For example, if you have been sentenced to 8 years imprisonment, you may be released after 6 years. The remaining 2 years of your sentence are remitted. Republic Act 9263, an act providing for the professionalization of the Bureau of Fire Protection or BFP and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology or BJMP, amending certain provisions of Republic Act No. 6975, providing funds thereof, and for other purposes. Section 1, Title. This act shall be known as the Bureau of Fire Protection and Bureau of Jail Management and Penology Professionalization Act of 2004. Section 2, Declaration of Policy and Principles. Is the declared policy of the state to maintain peace and order, protect life, liberty, and property, and promote the general welfare essential for the enjoyment by all people of the blessings of democracy. Article 2, Section 5 of the Philippine Constitution. Moreover, it recognizes the responsibility of the state to strengthen government capability, aim towards the strengthening of the delivery of basic services to the citizenry through institutionalization of highly efficient and competent fire and jail services. It is provided for under Republic Act No. 6975, otherwise known as the Department of the Interior, and Local Government Act 1990, that the task of fire protection and jail management and penology shall be the responsibility of the Bureau of Fire Protection or BFP and the Bureau of Jail Management and the Penology or BGMP, respectively. Moreover, Section 3 of the Republic Act No. 8551, otherwise known as the Philippine National Police Reform and Reorganization Act of 1998, provides that in times of national emergency, BFP and the BGMP along to Philippine National Police or PNP shall upon the direction of the President assess Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP in the meeting of national emergency, in addition to the performance of their inherent function as mandated by law. It is therefore recognized that the uniformed personnel of the BFP and the BGMP, as members of the uniformed service of the government under the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, are required the same amount of sacrifice, service, and dedication like their counterparts in the PNP and AFP to carry out their respective duties to the extent of risking their lives and lives. Toward this end, the state shall provide for the professionalization and restructuring of the BFE and the BGMP by upgrading the level of qualifications of their uniformed personnel and standardizing their base pay, retirement, and other benefits, making it at par with those of the PNP and the EFP. Section 3. Organization and key position of the BFE and the BGMP. The BFE and the BGMP shall be respectively headed by a chief, who shall be assisted by two deputy chiefs, one for administration and one for operations, all of whom shall be appointed by the President upon recommendation of the Secretary of the DLG from among the qualified offenders with at least the rank of senior superintendent in the service, provided that in no case shall any officer who has retired or is retirable within 6 months from his or her compulsory retirement age or be appointed as chief of the fire bureau of chief of the jail bureau, as the case may be, provided further that the chief of fire bureau and chief of the jail bureau shall serve a tour of duty not to exceed 4 years, provided, however, that in times of war or other national emergency declared by Congress, the President may extend such tour of duty. The heads of the BFP and the GMP with the rank of director shall have the position title of Chief of the Fire Bureau and the Chief of the Jail Bureau, respectively. The second offenders in command of the BFP and the BGMP with the rank of Chief Superintendent shall have the position title of Deputy Chief for Administration of the Jail Bureau, respectively. The third officer in command of the BFP and the BGMP with the rank of Chief Superintendent shall have the position title of Deputy Chief for Operation of Fire Bureau and Deputy Chief for Operation of Jail Bureau. The fourth officer in command of the BFP and the BGMP with the rank of Chief Superintendent shall have the respective position title of Chief of Directional Staff of the Fire Bureau and Chief Directional Staff of the Jail Bureau, who shall be assisted by the directors of the directorates and the respective national headquarters office with at least the rank of Senior Superintendent. The BFP and the shall establish, operate, and maintain their respective regional offices in each of the administrative regions of the country, which must be respectively headed by Regional Director for Fire Protection or Regional Director of Jail Management, and Penology with the rank of Senior Superintendent. He or she shall be respectively assisted by the following officers with the rank of Superintendent: Assistant Regional Director for Administration, Assistant Regional Director for Operations, and Regional Chief of Directorial Staff. Section 4. professionalization and upgrading of qualification standards, and the appointment of uniformed personnel to the BP and BGMP. No person shall be appointed as uniformed personnel of the BFE and the BGMP unless he or she possesses the following minimum qualifications. A. A citizen of the Republic of the Philippines. B. A person of a good moral character. Next, must have passed the psychiatric, psychological, drug, and physical test for the purpose of determining his or her physical and mental health. Must possess a baccalaureate degree from recognized institution of learning. Must possess the appropriate civil service eligibility. Must not have been dishonorably discharged of dismissal for cause from previous employment. Must not have been conducted by final judgment of an offense or crime involving moral turpitude. Next, must be at least 1 meter and 62 centimeters or 1.262 meter in height for male and 1 meter and 57 centimeters or 1.57 meter for female, provided that a waiver for height and age requirement shall be automatically granted to applicants belonging to cultural communities, and last must weigh not more or less than 5 kilograms or from the standard weights corresponding to his or her height, age, and sex. Section 5. Appointment of uniformed personnel to the BFE and BGMP. The appointment of the BFE and BGMP shall be effected in the following manners. A. Fire Drill Officer refers to Senior Fire Drill Officer. Fourth, appointed by the respective Regional Director for Fire Protection and Regional Director for Jail Management and Penology for the Regional Office Uniform Personnel, or by the respective Chief of Fire Bureau and Chief of the Jail Bureau of the National Headquarters Office Uniform Personnel, and attested by the Civil Service Commission or CSC. Fire and Jail Inspector to Fire and Jail Superintendent, appointed by the respective Chief of the Fire Bureau and Chief of the Jail Bureau, as recommended by their immediate superiors and attested by the CSC. C. Fire or Jail Senior Superintendent, appointed by the Secretary of the DILG upon recommendation of the respective Chief of the Fire Bureau and Chief of the Jail Bureau with the proper attestation of CSC, and Fire and Jail Chief Superintendent to Fire Jail Director, appointed by the President upon recommendation of the Secretary of the DILG with the proper endorsement by the Chairman of the CSC. Section 6. Lateral entry of officer into the BFE and BGMP. In general, all original appointments of officers in the Fire Bureau and Jail Bureau shall commence the rank of Fire Jail Inspector, when an applicant for lateral entry into BFE shall include all those with highly specialized and technical qualifications such as, but not limited to, civil engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, chemical engineers, chemists, architects, criminologists, certified public accountants, nurses, physical therapists, and dentists, while applicants for lateral entry into the BGMP shall include all those with highly specialized and technical qualifications such as but not limited to social workers, psychologists, teachers, nurses, dentists, and engineers. Doctor of Medicine, members of Philippine Bar, and chaplains shall be appointed to the rank of Fire and Jail Senior Inspector in their particular technical service. Graduate of the Philippine National Police Academy or PNPA shall be automatically appointed to the initial rank of Fire or Jail Inspector. Section 7. Professionalization and upgrading of qualification standards and designation of uniformed personnel of the VP and BGMP to key positions. No person shall be designated to the following key positions. No person shall be designated to the following key position of the BFE and the BGMP unless he or she has met the qualifications provided therein. 1. Municipal Fire Marshal should have the rank of Senior Inspector, who must have finished at least second-year Bachelor of Laws or earned at least 12 units in a master's degree program in Public Administration, Management, Engineering, Public Safety, Criminology, or other related discipline from a recognized institution of learning, and must have satisfactorily passed the necessary training of career courses for such position as may be established by the Fire Bureau. 2. City Fire Marshal should the, should the rank of Chief of Senior Inspector, who must have finished at least second year Bachelor of Laws or earn at least 24 units in Master's Degree Program in Public Administration, Management, Engineering, Public Safety, Criminology, or other related disciplines from recognized institution of learning, and must have satisfactory past and necessary training or career courses for such position as may be established by the Fire Bureau. 3. District Fire Marshal, Provincial Fire Marshal, Assistant Regional Director for Administration, Assistant Regional Director for Operations, and Regional Chief of Directorial Staff. Should have the rank of Superintendent, must be a graduate of Bachelor of Laws or a holder of a Master's degree in Public Administration, Management, Engineering, Public Safety, Criminology, or other related disciplines from recognized institution of learning, and must have satisfactory past and necessary training or career courses for such position as may be established by the Fire Bureau. 5. Deputy Chief for Administration of the Fire Bureau, Deputy Chief of Operation of the Fire Bureau, and Chief Directorial Staff of the Fire Bureau should have the rank of Superintendent, who must have been a member of Philippine Bar or holder of Master's degree in Public Administration, Management, Engineering, Public Safety, Criminology, or other related disciplines from recognized institution of learning, and must have satisfactory past the necessary training or career courses for such as may be established by the Fire Bureau. And 6. Chief of the Fire Bureau should have the rank of Director, who must be a member of Philippine Bar or a holder of Master's degree in Public Administration, Management, Engineering, Public Safety, Criminology, or other related discipline from a recognized institution of learning, and must satisfactorily pass the necessary training or career courses for such position as may be established by the Fire Bureau. And for now, that's all. Thank you.